Hello friends, welcome to techwithsoft. So as we are continuing the series of implementing the CRUD operations, right? We are using springboot, REST and JPA. So the previous recording we have performed two operations. One is a create operation, right? And second one is a read all data. So these two operations we have finished successfully. Now we have to work on update, delete. These are the two things, as well as we have to work on fetch data according to the primary key and fetch data according to the specific variable. So let's implement one by one, okay, all the operations. So first let's start with the fetch by ID only, okay. So what we are doing here, we are fetching the data according to the ID, right? So on that, what I will do, I will go to the controller first. So it is a control class for me I have, right? I will create a one method, right? That could be get by ID, right? So first I created one method get by ID, and here you have to remember that whenever you will create the method in control, right, you have to write two things. One is the argument. I mean, every time we do create methods with argument and return value, right? So we have to understand that with this particular operation, what my requirement. According to that, I will take argument and I will return the values. So here what we have to do, we have to find data according to the ID, right? ID will be something that will come with the URL. Like for example, in the postman, I will write here employee like get data, and with that I will pass ID like 1, or I will pass like 101 suppose. So 101 will be the ID. So with 101, ID will be primary key, right? ID will be primary key that cannot be duplicated. That 100% sure we have, right? So that time what it will return? It will return a single employee or multiple employee. That we have to think first before implementing the code, right? So we know that if I will go with the ID, if it is a primary key, right, I know that there will not be any duplicate record with the 101, right? There will not be any record with the 101. That time what happen? I have to fetch this record, so that will return the single employee only. So according to that only I decided the method return value should be employee only, not like list of employee. In the previous we took list of employee because here I was getting all the employees, but here I will get only the single employee. So that's why I kept it simple employee only. Then it will take ID here, right? So this ID we have to pass to the service, to the repository, right? Then we will pass this ID from here to this particular a path variable. So path variable will receive this ID which is coming from the client, coming from the postman, coming from the Angular or from the React. It will receive here. Then what happen? It will call a one method called get by ID, right? So it will call a one method called, just give me a minute. So it is calling a one method like get by ID. Okay, so get by ID we have defined under the service only. So let's see what it is doing. Get by ID, right? So get by ID we have here. So get by ID is taking ID as a parameter, and we have an implementation of it, right? We have an implementation of it, right? So get by ID will take ID as a parameter, and then it is called repository.find by ID. So we have a repository, right? Repository is our interface which is extending, right? Which is extending JPA repository. So find by ID is a method of JPA repository. So it will go to this database and check this ID is present or not, right? So normally get by ID does return optional. Sorry, find by ID does return optional. So optional is a Java 8 features. If you not know about optional, I will make a separate series for it. You can watch that and you will get to know that what is the optional, right? So find by ID will say, okay, if it is ID is present, return that ID. If it is not present, then return the null value. So that way it will work. Okay, so what is the error I have right now here? Let me check it once. Okay, I think that mapping is giving the issue. Let me remove it. That's not required. No error else, right? So this time my operation is ready, get by ID, which is taking ID as a parameter, right? So let me explain the flow once again. So first we have to hit this endpoint from the controller. So this will look the specific method which is implementing this endpoint. Employee is a class label, right? So we have to see get data. Get data will be the method label. right? So we have to come here, and here we to see get data method. So get data method, we have get data by ID. So that not get data, that should be get data by ID. So we have to write here get data by ID, and then we have to pass this ID. So this ID will go and paste into this ID. So with this endpoint, this method will call, and this method we have designed that will take path variable ID as in path variable. That means it is receiving the ID. Then we are passing this ID from controller to service because service is doing business logics, right? Everything we cannot write under the controller only. So it is going to the service, and the service, what happened right here, it is taking ID as a parameter and returning the employee only. So I have designed that on that way where I have a requirement, I want only the single employee objects, right? So get by ID will go, and the get by ID will have here, that will take ID as a parameter, and then it will check in the database. So here it is calling repository.find by ID. So find by ID is check in the database that does it ID present or not. If it is not present, it will return the null value, right? So let me check from the database what is that value we have right now. So let me open the database. So I am working with empty 101 table, right? So I have only single record to address New York, name black, and salary 8790. So I will go to the postman, and I will hit here the ID is like 2 only. If I will hit the ID 2, I will send the request. Okay, I think I have to start the server. Server is off. I think mapping will give error, so let me remove it. It's not required. Server started successfully. If I will hit the request, then it will go, and I think employee get data by ID 2. There's a problem here. What it is saying here? No response. Server is started, right? Localhost 8080 only. Let me check it once. Server started 8080 only, right? Okay, then why it is not 8080? It's employee only, right? On the top of that class level annotation, what we have in the controller, that is an employee only, right? Employee we have a like get data by ID, and then ID we are passing here. So employee get data by ID, and we are passing ID to here. So that time you can see I am getting the result here, ID to black 8790 New York, right? So if you will pass any other ID which is not a part of database, then you will get the exception, right? We will know how to handle the exception in Spring Boot. That's a different topic that also I will cover later on. If you want to learn that, please watch that series, watch all the videos in series, so you will get that as well. So this time I have implemented find by ID method, right? So this one is done now. So find by ID, read according to the primary key, right? That part is done, implemented. Now I have to perform the update operation. Let's do how to perform the update operation, then we'll see the other operation. So update, we have one thing. What update means? What it is, update the existing data, right? Existing data. So first it will check what? First it will check data present in the DB or not, right? Data present in DB, right? Then only it will update. Then only it will update, right? If data is not present in the DB, then it will not update. It will give something else, which we will look later on. So update, whenever you want to perform, right, you have to perform here 2 operations. First, find, it will check. First it will check the data is present in the DB or not. So for checking the data is present in the DB or not, we have to write this operation, read according to the primary key. So always remember that whenever we are performing update operation, right, first you have to write check the data is present or not. So we have to read the data according to the primary key, which we perform already. The same operation we have to perform once again for update, right? And then it will update the data into a database. So I made a one endpoint for it. Let me open that. Okay, so that is for update employee. So update employee will take 2 things. Update employee will take two things. And one more thing you have to understand here, we can update everything. Say suppose we have this information, name, salary, and address, right? But we cannot update one thing, which is a primary key. right? So primary key cannot be updated because primary key will be unique and that is auto generated, so we cannot update the primary key. Other than the primary key, whatever data we have, right, we can update anything. We can update everything, anything, but cannot update the primary key, right? So first we have to pass this data which we want to update. Suppose I want to update name, salary or address, that we have to pass, as well as we have to pass whose name, salary, address I want to update. So that means I have to pass this primary key also, right? So whenever that update request will go, right, first we have to take the put here, and here we have to take, what is the endpoint I took? Let me open that, update employee, right? So it will go with the update employee, and what does it pass, like 2 here. So that is the ID. But update employee, we have to pass some data, right? So data we have to pass from the body itself. So body, you know how to get to know. So you have to go to this body with raw data and JSON, and then we have to say what you want to update. Let's say I want to update only salary. He is living in the same place, but I want to update the salary. So if salary want to update, right, the salary will go with the ID. So here it may be possibility I may pass and more than one attribute, right? So for that I have to take body. So according to that I have to decide. So the update method which we have, right, it will take two things. One is the ID and second one is object, right? So for that I will not go to use this entity object. I will create a different object which is called DTO. That is called data transfer object. So whenever you want to perform some operation which is not directly related to the database, right, it is only for some other operation, right? For that purpose I will make a one DTO class. So inside this DTO class I will take all the fields other than the primary key. So this class employee, which is a part of entity, right, that is directly responsible for insert record into a database. But this is only will take the data from the client and will convert this data from here to employee, right? Because if I will go with the employee, right, that time ID should be passed. ID we cannot be ignored, right? But ID is optional. Because of that I took the DTO. Because of that only I took the DTO. Now let's, how does it perform? So first what I will do here, what does it return? It will return me a single employee. If you want, you can return the employee or you can give a message also. So here I am just returning employee objects. So with the help of that only it will perform the operation, right? So let's come with the implementation of it, right? So implementation will start with the service first. So I will create a one method that could be a update employee. So public employee. So what does it take? It will take employee DTO. It will take employee DTO as an argument, right? That could be a EMP DTO, something like that. And it will take one primary key also. Same we have to override in the implementation class. So go to the implementation class and provide the same, right? And just provide the body of it, right? Write public here, and then we have to override it at the rate of override, because we are overriding only, right, with the interface override. Now we have to write the logic here. So update employee, what does it do? It will take employee DTO as well as integer ID, right? So DTO, what does it do? So first it will find this operation. Does this data present in the database or not? So it will check with this repository.find by ID. So ID we are taking, right? Does it present? If it is present, return me. If it is not, give me a null. So that data will copy under the employee. After that I got the employee data which is present in the database. Later on what I have to do? I have to set this data here, right? So what do we do here? We have an employee DTO, right? So employee DTO is coming from the client directly, right, from the postman. So we will get, suppose I want to update salary, or suppose I want to update address also, right? So I will write here employee dot get address. So this address and salary both will come from the client, and the same will update with the employee object. Later on what I will do, I will save this employee object into a DB. So that will do by the save method, and same we can return also. That much only we have to pass. So update employee, what does it take? It will take employee DTO and then ID, right? That ID we have to pass to check, does this ID present, this user present in the database or not? If it is present, it will give me a complete object. With this complete object, with whatever I want, I can update them directly, salary or address, and the same we can save into a database. right? So that's the service part is over. Now let's come to the controller. So here controller, we have to pass ID as well as it will take one more objects, right, which will come as a body. That could be nothing like employee DTO. We are not taking directly employee, so it will come with the request body, right? Request body only does convert data into my JSON only. Request body employee DTO, right? So that could be say DT only. Let me take it, and second will be the integer ID. So whichever ID we are passing with the URL, right, this ID will go and save into this ID only. Save into this ID, and whatever we do pass under the body, right, like for example here we are passing salary and address, right? So that means that will pass to the, so let me pass here salary and let me pass the address also, address, and I will pass like suppose it is in UK, suppose right now. So this address we have to pass. So this address will go here. So inside this update employee, right? So here inside this request body DTO, right, we have a salary and this one address, but this ID we have like 2 which is coming from the URL only, right? After that what I have to do, I have to call the service method. So what is the service method we have? So employee service. What is the method name? That is called update employee. So update employee will take what? It will take ID as an parameter as well as employee DTO. So both argument we have to pass. So we have to send this employee DTO which is coming from the client, as well as I have to send the ID also. So ID and employee DTO both will not, that could be reference only, so that should be DTO here. That's it. So when it will go to this and it will give me an employee object, so that same I can return also here. That's it, return RETURN. Okay, that's it. So update employee is giving me error. Why it is giving error? Update employee is returning employee only, right? Then why it is giving error here? So it is response entity. Okay, response entity is returning, right? So return we cannot directly this here, right? So what I will do here, I can receive this into a employee object because it is a response entity we have, right, as a return value. So we cannot return directly data. We have to return in the form of response entity. Then what I have to do, return new response entity, right? And what I will pass here, I will pass here employee, right, and server status. So I will pass here http status dot say okay. Okay, that's a constant of it. So that will return like that, right? So update ID, it will come here. Let me explain one second flow from the postman. So we have update employee which is ID2 and will pass this salary and address. So this salary and address will copy into a DTO and this ID will copy into the ID only. So it will come here. So ID will having a ID which we pass like 2 and this employee DTO will having a like salary and address. So both we are passing from controller to service, DTO and ID. It will go to the service. Inside the service, employee DTO will receive under this and ID will receive here, right? Then it will check repository.find by ID. Find by ID will having this ID in the database or not, like I am passing 2. If it is present, return me the object, otherwise it will return me a null. Suppose if it is written the object, right, then what happened, right, I got employee. So with this employee, whichever field I want, I can update it. So employee.set salary and employee.set address. So both field will update here, salary and address both will update and then return to the, and it will save to the database. Updated data will save into the database and this save will return employee object itself. So employee object will go back to the service to the controller, right, and from controller I will receive the employee here. It is received, then what I will do, this will send to the client. So here we are sending employee data with the server status code. So it is saying 200, okay fine, and employee also is there, right, and that will back to the client. So let me restart the server once and test it. So 8080 server is started, right? Now let me go to the postman and I will hit this request. Let me give some other data here. Okay, that's fine. Send. You can see that this data had given me a bad request. Why bad request? ADDRESS. I think somewhere maybe this address is not matching. Okay, let me check from this what I've given there. So where it is receiving data, it is receiving under DTO only, right? So we have to check the DTO what we have. So we have an address ADDRESS only, right? So if I will pass the same in the postman, right, then why it is okay, comma is missing here, right? So it is thinking like it is a single value. So first I am passing salary and comma then second value, right? If I will pass it, then it is giving 500 into server. Why it is giving? Let's check what it is. The given ID must not. Okay, one thing I missed right here. Can anybody catch it? The thing which I'm missing here, path variable. Because of that only it is not receiving here, right? I have to take ID, but ID should be coming path variable. Okay, because of that only it is giving me null. So I have to keep path variable. Now this ID will be passed under this particular variable. Let me restart it once now. So because of the path variable missing, it is giving me error. Tomcat server started successfully. Go to the postman, hit it. I can see you are getting a result with it updated value 8990, and you can. Now let me update with the other thing, like it is in suppose in Europe. Okay, and let me pass some salary, say 7860, something like that, right? So now it is different, right? Let me pass it, and you can see that we are getting updated salary and address. So that way this update will work, right? Now let's look delete one also. So delete is also doing the same. First it will check the data is present in the database or not. If it is present, it will delete, otherwise no delete. So here also we will perform this fetch operation, which is a record read according to the primary key, right? So how does it read? Let's do it once. First go to the implementation. So first we have to create a one controller method which could be delete. So I already created here. This method you have to remember, right? So I mean annotation for update, put mapping, for delete, delete mapping. So it is taking delete and it is taking ID as a parameter, right, which is receiving by the path variable. Then here employee service, I have one delete employee method which is already there. So delete employee method service interface having a one implementation delete employee, right, which will take ID here, and it will check repository.find by ID. So it will write the select command for us with the where clause will having ID. So select star from employee where ID equal to question mark, which will come from the user. If it is present in the database, do it, return that, and same we have to delete from the DB, and then it will return the employee deleted kind of message. So here we are returning string message only, right? So delete does not return anything, that is return any type of void, right? It does not return, where you can say the save does return type of what? Save any type of objects. Save does return any type of objects, right? Where find by ID does return any type of object, that is a type of optional, right? So that way you can look that definition of it, right? So when I will perform this ID, it will go there, delete it, and then it will return the same to the client controller, and controller does return it to the client, actually postman, right? So let me do it, delete operation. So I have to copy this delete employee. So go with the delete employee, and I will pass with this too. I have only single record in the database, and here I have to check the delete only. So with delete, it will not carry any body, and then send it. You can see the data deleted successfully. You can check into database, fire this command here. You can see I don't have anything in my database. And if you will get find all record, right, we have already find all record data, right? So let me go here and we'll go with this get data. Get data is returning me find all, right, which we have already covered it. So if I will fire this here, get data, send it, then I will not, okay, I have to change this get only here, then you can see I'm not getting anything. It's empty right now, right? Because there is no data into a database. So in this lecture, we have covered how to get find by ID, how to perform update, as well as how to perform delete operation. So 3 operations we have performed in this video, right? So this is about that. So if you like the video, guys, please subscribe it and take care. Thanks for watching. And if you have any doubt, any things, you can put me on comments. I will try to address it. Thank you so much.